Alright, today we're going to work on rounding. So I want you to flip your work mat over to the side that's just blank. Not the one with the place value chart, but the blank side. Now I want you to draw a vertical number line. Remember, a vertical number line, vertical means up and down or tall. So you're going to draw a vertical number line on the side that's blank. You need to take that other one out. It's supposed to be in the trash can.
Which one?
The one that you have your hand on.
This one right here?
No, the other one. Just set it to the side so you have the blank part. Alright, so we have a vertical number line. And I want you to mark the end points 10 and 20. What's halfway in between 10 and 20, Bryce? 15. So we're going to make a midpoint. The point in the middle or halfway of 15. I'm going to make another vertical number line. This time I'm going to have endpoints of 1,000 or 10 hundreds. Is 1,000 equal to 10 hundreds?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the same. Why are those the same? Why is 10 hundreds and 1,000 equal to the same amount, Ainsley?
Because 1,000 equals 1,000.
Yeah, I could group those 10 hundreds. I could bundle them together to make 1,000. All right, so my other end point is going to be 2,000 or 20 hundreds. So what's my midpoint going to be?
1,500.
What's the midpoint, Jeremiah?
1,500.
1,500. 1,500. That's the same as how many hundreds?
1,500.
1,500s. Yeah, that's the exact same thing, just a different way of saying or representing the same amount. All right. You don't have to erase your number lines, but you can just go ahead and erase the numbers. We're going to find some more midpoints. So you can leave your number line so that that's less that you have to draw.
I could not erase.
Okay, that's fine. All right. This time, I want you on your number line to make an endpoint. Let me close that out. All right, you're going to round 4,100 to the nearest thousand. Okay, so how many thousands are there in 4,100, Sky? 4,000. So my low end point is going to be 4,000. What's 1,000 more?
5,000.
5,000. What's the midpoint or halfway in between, Jace?
4,500.
Perfect. 4,500. So where does 4,100 go on this number line, Bryce?
Right after 4,000.
Yeah, just right above 4,000, just a little bit more, 100 more. So I'm going to put 4,100 on there. So if I were rounding 4,100 to the nearest 1,000, what would it be? What would that be, Jeremiah?
4,000.
4,000, why?
Because it's closer to 4,000 than 5,000.
Yeah, it's closer. It's below the midpoint. It's closer to 4,000 than it is to 5,000. All right, we're going to use those same set of numbers. This time, we're going to round the number 4,700. Okay? So how many thousands are there in 4,700? 4,000. Right? Still 4,000. What's 1,000 more than 4,000?
5,000.
5,000. So our high point is the same. What's halfway in between 4,000 and 5,000?
4,500.
4,500. So put 4,700 onto your number line now. It's in between 4,500 and 5,000. Almost halfway in between, but not quite. So Maggie, what would that round to?
It would round to 400 and 600.
Would it round, is 4,700 right here closer to 4,000 or closer to 5,000? Yeah, here's 4,700. Here's our low point. Here's our high point, and it's closer to 5,000. It's more than halfway. So it is about 5,000. All right, let's do another one. Can erase. Yeah, we're going to use another number line. So if you want to leave yours, that's fine. Or if you want to erase, that's fine too, and redo it. All right, this time we're going to round 14,500 to the nearest 1,000. 14,500 rounded to the nearest 1,000. Listen to my question very carefully. How many thousands are there in 14,500? 14. Because I can take those 10,000s, the 10,000, and I can make those into thousands, right? Okay, so there's 14,000. So I know that that's going to be my first endpoint is going to be 14,000. What's 1,000 more? 15,000. What's my midpoint? What's halfway in between? 14,500. So now I'm ready. I have my vertical number line labeled. I'm ready to put 14,500 on my number line. Where does it go?
In the middle.
Yeah, we've already got it there, right? It is the midpoint. Here's 14,500 right here. We've already labeled it. So it's really not closer to either number. So what's the rule, Chloe? You go up. If it's in midpoint or higher, you go up. So 14,500 rounds to 15,000. Did anybody notice this little symbol right here that I drew?
Yeah, that equals
Is it an equal sign?
Yes. No.
Why did I not put an equal sign there?
It's not equal.
Because it's not equal. Those little squiggly lines like that, they have a fancy name, but they just mean about. That just tells me it's not exact. It's an estimation or rounded. All right, so let's try another one here. How about if I rounded 14,000 990 to the nearest thousand. 14,990 to the nearest thousand. How many thousands are there in 14,990? 14. So my low point is still correct. I've got 14,000 down here. 1,000 more is 15,000. Halfway is 14,500. So where would 14,990 go on that number line, Brady? Where would it go?
It would go right there by the 14,000.
Would it go right by 14,000 or right by 15,000?
15,000.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny bit, just 10 less. So it would go about right here, almost to 15,000. And label it 14,990. So is 14,990 closer to 14,000 or closer to 15,000? 15,000, definitely. All right, let's try another one with this same vertical number line. How about 14,345? Where would 14,345 go on this number line? Go ahead and put it on yours. Sky, where would 14,345 go?
Under 14,000.
Under 14,000?
No, under 14,500.
All right, so it's between 14,000 and 14,500. So if I were going up my number line, remember there's the distance in between 14,000 and 14,500 is how much? It's 500, right? Okay, so if I'm going to go up 345, I'm going to be about right here. 14,345 be about right there. Is that closer to 14,000 or closer to 15,000?
15,000.
Well,
No, 15,000.
14,000. It's below the midpoint. It's less than 5. Less than that 500 that's in the midpoint. So it rounds to 14,000. All right, so let's try another one. Go ahead and erase everything. We're going to do a new set of numbers. New set of numbers. All right. This time, we're going to round 215,711 to the nearest thousand. 215,711 to the nearest thousand. I'm going to draw my vertical number line. To label my end point at the bottom. How many thousands are in 215,711? How many thousands are there? 215. 215,000. Okay. I'm rounding to the thousands place value, so I need 1,000 more. What's 1,000 more?
3,015.
1,000 more.
2,000.
What's 1,000 more?
16.
216,000. It's really important that you pay attention to which place value you're rounding to. All right, what's the midpoint or halfway in between 200? 15,000 and 216.
215,500.
Yeah, my 215 is going to stay the same. That 215,000 stays the same. And then halfway between would be 500. All right. 215,711. We're ready to put it on. Where would it go?
It would go not too far from the middle.
Is it more than 215,500?
Yes.
Yeah, 711 is more than 500. So I'm going to go about 211 more. He's somewhere right there. 215,711 would go about right there. Is it closer to 215,000 or closer to 216?
216.
It's closer to 216,000. It's more than halfway. All right, let's try one more.
Same numbers.
No, different numbers, so you can go ahead and erase. All right, let's round 321,412 to the nearest thousand. I'm still rounding to the nearest thousand. So I'm going to draw my vertical number line. How many thousands are in 321,412?
321,000.
There's 321 thousands. What's 1,000 more?
322,000.
322,000. What's halfway in between?
321,500.
Very good. 321,500. Go ahead and put 321,412 on that number line now. 321,412. Where's that going to go on the number line, Tatum? Yeah, it's just a little less than 321,500. Go somewhere around here. 321,412. So is 321,412 closer to my endpoint 321,000 or 322,000?
321,000.
Very good. 321,000. All right. Go ahead and erase your work mat. And I want you to get out of your Learn math book. I want you to get page 57. Page 57 out. Okay, I want you to flip over to the back to page 58. Let's look at number 2 together. This problem says a pilot wanted to know how many kilometers he flew on his last 3 flights. From New York City to London, he flew 5,572 kilometers. Then from London to Beijing, he flew 8,147 kilometers. Finally, he flew 10,996 kilometers from Beijing back to New York City. Round each number to the nearest thousand, and then find the sum of the rounded numbers to estimate how many kilometers the pilot flew. All right, so let's think about what's happening in this problem. He started in New York City, and he flew from New York City to where? London. And then he flew from London to Beijing. Then he flew from Beijing back to New York City, right? So it asks us about how many. That gives us the idea that we're going to round. When you have a question that asks you about how many, that's telling you that you're going to round. And it told us that we were rounding each number to the nearest, what? 1,000. All right. So his first flight from New York City to London was 5,572 kilometers. If I round that to the nearest 1,000, 5,572 to the nearest 1,000. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to draw my vertical number line. How many thousands are there in that number? 5,000.
5,000.
What's 1,000 more? 6,000. It's halfway in between.
5,500.
So where's 5,572 going to go?
Close to the 6,000.
It's going to be a little more than 5,500, right?
Yeah.
72 more. So it'll be about right here. Is that closer to 5,000 or closer to 6,000?
6,000.
6,000. So that's about 6,000 kilometers. Okay. Then the next part of the flights went from New York City to London. I'm sorry, he went from London to Beijing. That was 8,147 kilometers. I need to round that number to the nearest 1,000. All right. How many thousands are there in 8,147? 8,000. What's 1,000 more? 9,000. It's halfway in between.
8,500.
8,500's in the middle. Where does 8,147 go?
Above the 8,000.
Yep, just a little more than 8,000. It's 147 more, so somewhere about here. So is that closer to 8,000 or closer to 9,000?
8,000.
Closer to 8,000. All right, and then his third flight went 10,996 kilometers from Beijing back to New York City. All right. So this time I'm rounding 10,996 kilometers to the nearest 1,000. How many thousands are there in 10,996? 10,000. What's 1,000 more than 10,000? 11,000. Halfway?
10,500.
10,500. So where does 10,996 go?
Closer to 11.
Yeah, it's almost 11,000, isn't it?
11,000.
About right here. So it's going to be closest to
4 away.
11,000. Yeah, it's only 4 away. So it's almost, it's really, really close. It's almost 11,000. All right, so we've rounded each of the numbers to the nearest thousand. And then it tells us to find the sum of the rounded numbers to estimate how many kilometers the pilot flew. What does it mean by find the sum? What does find the sum mean, Gracelyn?
It means the answer.
The answer by what?
We're adding.
Adding. We're adding our rounded numbers. We're going to add 6,000 plus 8,000 plus 11,000. I know 6 and 8 makes 14. And 14 plus 11 would be 25,000. So about how many kilometers did the pilot fly?
25,000.
About 25,000, yeah. So the pilot flew about 25,000 kilometers. All right, you're going to finish the rest of lesson 7 problem set, both sides.